I saw Jen here.
I did. She's not with, he can.
She's with another race.
Yeah.
I said, you know. Checking with the store.
You could see.
Mark. You. Good, how you doing? You still working? Yeah.
This is what we're trying to figure it out.
She chills, so.
Oh, really? Ron chills. I'm always.
I went to the same.
We're at 70.
Didn't know.
We're at 70. He's always old. I could have it even cooler.
Switch. Quite a while. So this year.
That's what I did.
Social security. Yeah, right. Unfortunately, I make tax on top of it. It's good because we're gonna check every week.
Oh, yeah.
That is. 8 years. That's great. You move it. That was.
They found a way.
I think that was.
Yeah. This year. Well, they had the one big one.
Is that?
Mark.
More constant.
Yeah.
Let's hear Steve Preston. Point on that one.
I just found these, I think.
I gotta listen to it. And you have to cook them.
I mean, I was really sick.
I'll cook that.
We had. So he was going to be here. Once you start reading with the surface.
It's not
like those, and he turned it over. I don't, just, not one, not a good issue. That's what you use.
Well, that's why I know.
Yeah.
It's great.
And the only thing on the second, it would have been nice if they threw the actual gifts to me. Didn't know, did the natural. Yeah. So we got propane. Yeah. Just a week.
You need about 30,000 people.
That's all we need is trouble with the heat. It was? Yeah, we came in here, it's like so humid, so hot, that it's not, you know. We were here at 6 and it should be cooler now, but it's taking a long time.
People who are in solar contracts, right? Get apples. I go, what? Of course, I don't watch TV.
Oh, I heard that. Check.
Didn't go on area. So yes, I'm in the meetings. Nobody, anybody here.
It's getting a little better. I'm not sure. I got it. So that one is this fall. So I don't know why. I went out here. So let's see. No way, really? Open with those two. I don't know. Maybe we could do this in the fall.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That, the thermostats here have always been screwed, like I come in and the time changed, you know, be like 4 hours late.
Yeah.
And after a while, I reached that, so they're just, and now I just feel, because then I can feel some awareness. And I don't know why they changed the should, so. Yeah, they're really too complex.
Yeah, they are very.
Two different sensors on this, there's rooms that you put on the kitchen and you can put on that room and then you can sense that. It's just I mean, so the unit's great, you know.
You just have one cell.
What's that?
It's just one cell.
Yeah, there's 2 units. So this side is 1 unit on that side.
So there's two cells.
There's 2 units, yeah, so there's, yeah. Sometimes zones can be 1 unit.
They feel all the same.
No, there's 1 there and 1 there.
So the two zones.
Yeah. Yeah, what? Zones are.
I have two zones in my house.
Yeah, there are 2 units.
I have one unit, two cells.
See, this doesn't, this doesn't, this has 2 separate people. So you have a like camper or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, these people, they don't have that here. Yeah.
So what do you do if they, like it is, like the time zone, the time, Eastern Standing, it does change on that?
It's the Wi-Fi, so
Oh,
the Wi-Fi, it should change. But I don't know why it drops out sometimes. It feels a little. I haven't understood the schedule. Because you can have schedule set up like at 10 o'clock to whatever. So I know they actually do take one inside and take long at 8:30 then. Right down. But other than that, usually 10:30 I just have I'll go down. Okay. Try to it's a guessing.
Does the,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it should stay. And it should. So that's what I thought, maybe go with an outage. But this is like.
But nobody online yet. Nobody online yet.
I thought Bill was gonna try
Yeah, because he.
Yeah, that's. I can't even.
Thanks.
Control it, right?
Thanks.
The first one I did. Start with that. A regular and it's wireless. I wish I had that.
Everybody
says.
I'm still trying to figure
It's not bad. It's not bad. Straight. It's not for the old, young kids.
Here we go.
that one?
So you got a view on that. Most likely. It's probably cheaper to do it that way. Yeah, it might even be cheaper. I don't think it's better. I don't think I paid more. I spent just the 3rd year. I don't think I spent. Now, some of them you get like for the relays, the outputs, there's 4 groups. So like most of them probably have 8. Like 8.
So can you hear me?
You can replace the sort of, so some of them have like the way on that. Or you can replace it. One I got, it was this one that goes in the high street, this. I think I want this.
Yeah. He's got a great job.
So it's. Your son's still doing the summer, the water.
You know. How is it there?
All right. This house is beautiful. You can imagine using the space of 2 cars on this.
Shut everything down.
That would go for separate garage. Inside.
Looks like it's good.
That's really a lot of.
Is that right?
The other day, you know, it was like, we're still in this thing. It's just like sort of running off again. Running into the days, it's not so big.
And then I guess we're open pool and it's hot. It's fire. Beautiful. That's working out.
Did you ever have?
Oh, man. He's having.
Bill, can you hear me?
Talking to me, Michelle?
The only thing showing. You look out there, it's asphalt. That's. I got
It's the same, whatever. Yeah. They're actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they just.
Yeah, I guess.
We gotta talk to them, I'm not on the board.
Do I know? That's why I was looking. Glenn just tells me to stop. I'm gonna wait just like 2 or 3 more minutes. So we have a few people coming in.
Yeah. Vacation the same way for the years. You still decide to.
Yeah, I was thinking of like, there's this street installation.
Be my boom boy. He's loud.
We have the plot. Good days.
Can you tell from you? No, meaning for you. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of people online. We'll start. Welcome to tonight's meeting to meet the candidates. We have Gail, I don't want to say your last name right, DeBoe. Is that okay? And Barb Jasinski here. So these are our two candidates for the open position on the board. And we have just a couple of questions where each candidate will answer the same question, but their own way. We'll go back and forth. What was that? What did I do? I'm sorry, I missed something apparently. What do you mean? I introduced.
We introduced our topic.
Oh, sorry. So my fault, I apologize. I'm newer to this. So I'm going to have each candidate introduce themselves and say something to the room. And we'll start with Gail first. Oh, okay, then. Okay.
Well, I guess most of you know who I am, and I've been a member of the Bay Pointe board for a number of years. I started as a member at large, which was a great way to learn about the board. You know, the member at large sort of deals with everything and everybody. They're sort of the go-to person and, you know, and help out all of the other members. So it was a good way to learn the infrastructure and learn all of the contractors and people that we have to deal with. And then for the last 4 years, I've been the president, working with a very talented group of different individuals and volunteers right here that are dedicated their time and their energy to our community. Really have to say that it's a team effort that we do. Having lived in prior associations and having placed buyers in associations, because as a realtor, you realize that Bay Pointe is really a phenomenal community. People and activities, resources, amenities. It really is a nice place to be, and it's a great place to live. And I'm honored to have been able to be elected to the board for the past 6 years. And I would like to continue to help Bay Pointe, the stellar community that it is. So hope you will elect me.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. It's a beautiful summer evening, so we appreciate you taking the time to come here. So tonight, really, I just want to focus on, like one simple fact to share with people. And that fact is that Bay Pointe was incorporated on October 24th, 2008. So just as a gentle reminder, I mean, what we're looking at, in a very few short years, 2 years, Bay Pointe will be 20 years old. So, that's a milestone for Bay Pointe to be a 20-year-old development. I don't know how many people, when they came, to Delaware and moved here, looked at houses that were 20 years old. Interesting. But as I said, I think that when we hit this milestone, if we recognize, that Bay Pointe is 20 years old, we're going to have to be open-minded about how things are done here in the community. And I'll just give you a few examples. Like, for example, 10 years ago, there was some people in the neighborhood wanted to put in a stop sign. And on hearing you, because they were concerned about speeding, and that was 10 years ago. But at that time, they said, no, it's not necessary. We don't need that stop sign. Well, lo and behold, this past week, I mean, now people did not receive this. Now we have DoorDash driving through here. We have Amazon. We have Prime. We have Walmart. We have so many more constructions. So now we do have change. The stop signs did go up this week. So as I said, one time they said, no, we're not going to do it. Now we have to do it. It was for people's safety. So change. Not everybody likes change. Did everyone agree with it? But it was probably done for the benefit of everyone. So the other item that I was happy with is, for a number of years, I have quite a few friends here who we swim in the pool all the time. Carolyn, Bill, Janet, Patty. I mean, we all swim in the pool. We all wanted the pool to stay open. We wanted a long pool season. For years, we've been told, no, we can't. It's issues. We can't do it. Well, this year we're going to keep the pool open a little longer. So, did everyone agree with it? No, but we were happy with that change. So as I said, it was a nice change. Okay, now, 10 years ago, we didn't have a water aerobics class. People said, no, we can't do it. Now we have, okay, change. So what I'm saying is, one other thing. A number of you, I don't know if you were here for state reps meeting, Jeff, he was here and he talked about a number of items. And the issue came up from a Bay Point resident about, who should own the roads here in Bay Point. Should Bay Point own the roads or should they be transferred to the state? Well, 20 years ago, when Joe Reed was responsible for the development, he had the opportunity to turn the road to the state, to the county management, and people said no. Bay Point wants to control those. Now, in hindsight, people are saying maybe we should turn the roads over to the state so that we don't have that financial burden. So I said, time moves on, things change, things come, to pass. So that's one thing. But as I said, the key is just to be open-minded, and I think that's just a good way. I try to do that in my personal life. I mean, I try to encourage my husband to be, open-minded about things at times. I mean, we, like a number of years ago, we lost that Siamese cat that we had for 19 years. Mark was adamant. He said, we are absolutely not going to get another Siamese cat. I'm allergic to cats. We'll never get another cat. No. We're not going to get another cat.
Gail, this one goes off topic. So this was just for introduction. Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. So let's go to we'll go to the first question. We will start with, we can start with Gail for this one. What is your motivation for being on the HOA board? And what would be your primary goal for the upcoming year?
Well, my motivation is that I'm, interested in the community. I have lived here for 10 years. We've been very happy living here. I'm concerned about the overdevelopment in Sussex County, and I would like to continue to have, Bay Point be, a desirable place to live.
Barbara?
It's funny that this is a question. This was a question before I ran to why do I want to run again? And I did a sort of pros and cons type of list. And it really came down to, I like being on the board. I like working with a great group of people. I love taking an interest in Bayport, everything of its needs and what's going on, the challenges. I like to better our community. I like fiscal responsibility. I like helping make decisions and improve our community and continue to make sure our property values are increasing. I mean, that's key. As Gail says, we're an old community. Yes, we're 20 years old. And some of our homes are 15 years old. So it's time that we really got to look at our infrastructures in all cases. And I want to be part of that.
Okay. Next question. This time we'll start with Barbara. Over the past years, what would you say were the most significant improvements for the community?
Michelle, could you say that a little bit louder?
Yes. So over the past years, what would you say were the most significant improvements for the community?
Physical improvements. Yeah, we did this clubhouse. We did the pool decking. We've put in a pavilion. We've done a lot of things, but had amenities. I think those are all visual things that has been done. But there's a lot of things behind the scenes that, helps run this community continually. Yes, I still have all these great amenities and everything, but I think one of the key things that we did was start all the investment. I mean, the committees, all the committees that we had. We have 20 and 30 people that are helping the board, that are working with the board, that are assisting in decision making, that are giving us, going out and literally finding contractors or finding out, expenses and doing research for us. I mean, the investment committee was one of the keys. It was one of the first And I mean, these are people devoted to increasing our, reserves, which is very, very key, especially when we're going to have things that we need to fix in the community. We've got a communications committee that we put in place. And it was really put in place because a lot of people wanted transparency. And lo and behold, we put it in, we started newsletters. We don't have to now wait. The community doesn't have to wait until the board minutes get approved. They're come out within a week of the meeting so that everybody knows what's going on. I think those are key things that people sort of forget that are important in functioning and running a community. We have town hall meetings now. Instead of one meeting a year, we have three. We have 3 meetings that people can submit their gripes, decision, their concerns, their, things they like. They can even submit a compliment. That would be nice too. But, and that, helps us to settle disagreements and things like that. And lastly, I think one was from a Bay Pointe person that came in. They recommended, it was really Janice Bella that recommended, hey, why don't we charge some new buyers coming into the community, all the buyers that buy, immediately into the operation fund. We used to charge $300 to all people that new built. And everybody else, the communities out there were doing $2,000 to $5,000, charging a new buyer coming in. We did that, and that's helped our coffers too. So I think a lot of those things behind are the improvements. Physical things are great, but the flashy stuff is, it's the stuff that's not flashy. It's really improvements.
Do you need me to repeat it? I'm not.
No.
Okay, I was.
So as I said, I'm not, but I felt that, but in my personal opinion, one of the largest projects that I worked on for over 6 years was in terms of helping Bay Pointe directly and indirectly, was the issue of the windswept development and the stormwater management projects. I mean, that was 6 years of work. And the reason why that was so helpful is that people didn't realize that all the water that Joe Reed is pumping out, like throughout development into the other developments, it was 6 years of him pumping water from the aquifer beneath us and using that water in terms of cleaning up his construction site. And I worked with the lawyers from Denmark, I worked with the EPA, I worked with the Deputy Attorney General, I worked with the EPA, the Philadelphia office, and we really did a very good job of helping to keep tabs on the damage that was being done because of the construction and the amount of dirt and mud that was brought in to that windswept development. And as I said, it was very intense for 6 years, like even to the point that, Joe Reed actually personally wrote to me and said, please stop the photographs and stop writing through our reports. But as I said, I had a lot of people helping me. I had a wonderful drone photographer, came and took the pictures and everything, and we documented all the damage. And again, it helped Bay Pointe because people don't have the right to just use all the water in this area for their personal gain. So.
Okay. Next question is, Gail, if you could answer first. In your opinion, what are the most important challenges facing Bay Pointe?
Well, I think I mentioned that, the fact that we reached 20-year-old. I think, we have Lenore construction, like it's going to be right up the road or Polymath Road. That's going to be the challenges in terms of competing against new construction. That's it. I really do feel strongly about it. And the traffic on Route 24. The new construction and traffic on Route 24, how many shopping centers they actually plan to build on. So, just look at what's happening. There's a big shell development, Saddle Ridge, on 24. Houses there sit for months because people know that they can't make a left going out on Route 24. It's a shell development. All the houses are beautiful, but people don't want to live there because of the traffic on Route 24. You can't get out of your development. So do I.
And Barbara.
What was it, challenges?
Yeah, so in your opinion, what are the most important challenges facing Bayport?
Well, I guess, Gail, in our agreement, we are a 20-year-old community. And yes, we're going to have infrastructure issues and things that we're going to have to do. But I'm sort of more concerned about our homes are 15 years old. We're not, when you have a realtor out there, and I was a realtor, there's used homes and new homes. Unfortunately, we're now in the class of used homes. And used homes, we got a lot of new around, and used are hard to sell. They are hard to sell, and they're hard to, I was sitting there going, wait a minute, I'm a 10-year-old home, a 9-year-old home. I thought I had a new home, but I know I got a used home. So that's going to be a key. We do have all the funds, we got to get the funds. We got to follow the research study for everything that we have for roofing and everything else that we're going to need here. And, but the one main thing we got to remember is that it says on the front of our sign in front, it says Bay Point Waterfront Community, or a waterfront community. That's the best selling point we could do out there. And I think that's key. Another thing that I think, I worry about, having been on the board, is volunteer burnout. I mean, we use a lot of people, and, it takes a lot of people dedicated to, run the city, as I put it, and effectively. And I think we need to expand our committees. I think we need to help people to step up and, challenge, the board and get more stewards that are willing to entrust and take on the care of this community. I think that's really key. We need volunteers.
That's it. Those are my questions. That's 3 questions.
So I guess, thank you very much, Gail, for your time. These roles on the board for served on 2020 boards firsthand. I'm thankless position these, so I appreciate both of you all for your time. Perhaps a follow-up first question is, could you be a little bit more specific about what your number one priority would be for next year? So if you could do something that was tangible and specific, what would that be?
First. Okay, I have to do it from a board perspective, because what really is coming forth, and of course I'm privy to it with all the boards this year, starting 2027, every contractor that we deal with is going to be up for bid, which is a huge process. We usually try to get 2 to 3 year contracts. We are going to now be out there getting, and we have a procurement policy that requires 3 bids. So we have to go out and find all of these people that are willing in a very congested, and, they're not waiting for us. They've got so many communities to deal with. So that's going to be the biggest challenge going forward, and be able to bring in a budget that we've been successful in the past, that in the inflationary time, that does not exceed what our needs of this community and the people too, and so that's going to be the big challenge, and we got to do it quickly. So that's what I'm, as a board member.
I would like to. Oh, so as I said, so I've been, from here for 10 years, and corporate is great, hard would have been a community, but not everyone has a view of the water. Okay, about 15 houses in the community have at the end of their beach, so they all have a beautiful view of the water, and rightly so, because they purchased a lot and they have a beautiful view. So I would like for some of the other people whose backyard space, some of the common areas, to have enhanced views of more like a park-like setting, and plant some trees. And I know that people do not want to spend money on trees. So for many, many years, I have offered to donate money for the trees. I would love to just, I have asked the board, please, can I just plant 3 trees a year? And you can tell me where to plant them. Please let me plant the trees. I have said here, I do not need irrigation systems. I have my little irrigation these are like irrigation tree bags, you know? So you take this and after you plant the tree, you just put it around it and you fill this with water. And this is how you plant a tree, and you keep the trees watered for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, you take away the bag. So no, I am not telling the board that I want the entire common area covered with irrigation systems. I'm saying, please be open-minded. Please reconsider your decision and allow people, everyone, to donate trees to create a park-like setting to enhance people's views who don't have the beautiful people. That would be my number one wish. Thank you.
I was gonna make a comment, but I think Barbara should have an opportunity to respond to that. Since you've been on the board.
Okay, I have never had a request from Gail to plant trees. You know, that she would donate her monies and everything. I understand that, yes, there was some at the very beginning a while back, but there was caveats to it. So, but me personally,
Okay, so I actually submitted, I worked with every board member, so, you know, I submitted a formal request. It actually went through the office of the Deputy Attorney General, Christopher Kirk. So I have the documents that there was a request to be able to donate trees. And we did have a reply from the lawyer, Pointe denying the request. So I'd be happy to send that. I can't remember what year that was, but again, if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to write you a new letter offering to donate trees. But the response.
But I think we're kind of diverting on just a tree topic.
Okay, what I'm saying is, the response from the board was, you can donate money to the board, but we will decide how to spend it. So that was the final decision.
The comment I was going to make earlier is that when I was on the first board, I was the first president of the board of directors. We looked into, it's not just a matter of saying we want the state to take over our rights. We tried to do it. It wasn't possible. Obviously, it would have saved us a lot of money, but it's not a doable thing. So I want to make sure we're aware of that.
Does anybody else have any additional?
I just put a comment if I can, I'm on the board, but for the trees, it's nice to have trees, but when you want to have views, but when you start putting trees like in front of my house or other people's houses, it starts, you can't see the water anymore. So I'll be curious to see where you're going to put the trees.
Like some of the ones would be like way at the end of Heron Reach, like I live there, like way at the end there with like the snow houses down there. And, you know, I would pick spots where people did not block their views. I mean, no one wants to block anyone's views, you know, either the pond or the rain. Nobody would want to do that.
Okay, it just limits the amount, I think, of trees we can put in. But
Well, I'm not talking gigantic oak trees. I'm talking American fringe trees, something, you know, they're similar size to a crepe myrtle, it's just that it's a native tree. So, I mean, these are not, you know, giant oak trees or anything like that that are 150 feet tall. So.
I have one more question. I'm not going to keep you late, but it's a new resident in the community, so my first day. So I mentioned that on a prior board, our number one objective, the guiding principle, was all about maintaining property values. And when the opportunity presented itself was to enhance property values in the neighborhood as an HOA. So I very much like both of your responses, being about competition with other communities, about property values that very much sort of resonate with me. So I guess my question would be, you think about how our HOA can differentiate itself in a competitive market. What do you think the number one thing is that we can use as an HOA, you know, competitive differentiator, almost to the point that if somebody were listing their house in the neighborhood, they would reference something about their HOA as a benefit to attract buyers. As an HOA. Whoever wants to go first,
you can go first.
I mean, I just, you know, I'm going to get some pushback, but I'm going to say it. As I said, you know, I've lived here for 10 years. I know the whole property very well. there's a lot of areas where we have acres of weeds and acres of fruit. I would work on those areas, and that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna debate it, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm closing my comments. We have acres of weeds and acres of fruit. And discussion for me.
Well, because I was a realtor and because I was a referral realtor down here, I deal with a lot of the realtors and I always am checking in with them to see what is, what's the scuttlebutt out there on Bay Point. We have a very good reputation. We're known as a very active community, a very good board, all of these things that are positive. We have a waterfront. And one of the key things that we have is the boatyard, the storage, free storage. So I think if we keep those things and if we put our houses on the market or what we do, if we say the same things over and over again, we have a very positive. They really like this community. They show this community. The biggest thing is pricing. Is going to be, that's in the hands of the homeowner. So it's sort of hard so they can overprice their homes and then that makes difficulty, but we do have a really good, solid community here and a reputation. So it's good. Yes.
May I just say something to, maybe give you, John, a little more information? We had a survey of the community a few years ago. And as I recall, one of the top responses of community members of what they loved about our community, and now more than even then, is that we're tucked away from the road. And I think that is one of the very good point, greatest differentiators for Bay Point relative to all the new business that's going up.
Good point.
Maybe why you moved here.
Anybody else have any additional questions?
Any questions from the web?
Any questions from anybody online? Yep. Phil and Ann.
I've got nothing, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you.